Hi, my name is Caitlin, and this is the Busy Bee podcast. Today I have a really special guest on the show, a friend who I connected through social media, and she found this podcast and has a lot to say about studying habits and her new app. So this is Alisa.
Hi, I'm so excited to be on this podcast.
Hi, I'm so glad you were able to do this. It's funny how we really connected because it's kind of a strange way how we sort of met.
I know, it's like the power of social media right now is so crazy.
It's insane because we didn't know each other before this, but we connected through a friend and also through this podcast. So when we first met, like you had a really big deal of like an app you say you're creating, right? So would you like to explain a little about that?
Okay, so let me start off with a little background on the app. So it started off with this sort of Harvard program I applied to that was online. And what they do here is you apply, if you get in, it's like a 1 month virtual session where they teach you how to launch a business. And so based on our interests, we got put together with the group. And my group, we instantly decided that we wanted to take this further than the program. So we wanted to see, what could we relate to? What do we want to market this towards? We were thinking about students and how in recent years in underdeveloped communities, you see a decline in test scores and grades. And a lot of the time it's because of a lack of resources. So what we did is we thought, so there's different ways to study. And most of the time you sort of teach yourself or you have resources to help you learn how to study. But for maybe more unmotivated students or students who just don't have the same resources as everybody else, it might be harder. So we wanted to create an app that would help tackle that issue by making an easy, comprehensible guide to studying. So we worked with psychologists to create sort of a test that would determine your learning type. And then based on that, you would get sort of a list of different study techniques based on your learning type with a description of how it works, what subjects it's best for. So that's a big part of it in order to help students overcome, just stress with school. But we're also working on making a community page so students can connect with each other and network professionally. And we're also trying to invite professors on there to give opportunities to students for summer programs.
So what stage are you in developing the app right now?
So we are out of the program at the moment. But however, we do still have a mentor who goes to Columbia, and she helps us through our development stage. So we've started on marketing, and we created a website in order to sort of get things going and have a prototype. And right now we are working on developing the app and determining our next steps in terms of partnering with different people. But we do have a good baseline and we do have some set features already into our website.
And I remember you mentioned to me when we talked, the partnering with the app with like some other peers, they're all over the world. How did they really connect with you with this from this app?
So my business partners are my co-founders. They were also in the program. So we got grouped together and one lives in India, one lives on the West Coast, one lives in Florida. So as you can imagine, the time differences
Definitely.
are interesting. But everybody who joined the program, they were all extremely motivated and extremely determined in becoming entrepreneurs and teaching themselves about the market, teaching themselves about how to work technologically. So I think that initial passion and that joint fueled passion for, helping our peers and helping break down the barriers of being successful in school helped drive us together, even though it's very hard to schedule calls.
I bet from like India, that's like almost like I think it's ahead, right? Like they're like tomorrow and like right now. That's like insane. So did you ever have to spark this inspiration for the app, did you have any personal problems with like studying or anything to have inspired this app?
Yeah. So, like all throughout school, I was always going online trying to find like different study methods.
Yeah.
But I think looking online, there's just a lot of misinformation, and there's not like a real platform that gives you all these different techniques that tells you what they're good for. Like I'll see maybe a TikTok on the Pomodoro technique, and I'm like, I need something new, and like I need to learn how I can apply this, because everybody learns differently, and there needs to be more variety. So that's why I was like, I mean, I struggle with this. Every student struggles with this.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's time that we make something to address it.
So you have an internship, you said, right? Through a marketing firm. How did you find these internships? What are some advice that for our students across the world are trying to look for these type of opportunities?
Okay, so yeah, I'm a digital marketing intern at a marketing firm. This I like found an interview. However, my dad already knew my boss previously, so he guided me. But a lot of the times when I try to find programs like the Harvard business program that I just mentioned to you, you really just have to dig deep. You know, you can hear different references, but if you really do just search up like best internships in my area, but it also depends how competitive you want it to be. So do you want something that you want to apply for? Do you want a business program? Do you want a medical program? My biggest advice is looking at different university pages, because a lot of different universities will have different programs that you can apply for, especially in the medical industry. So for anybody who is located in the DMV, I would say for medical, Johns Hopkins. There's a lot of good medical programs there. And then there's a lot of businesses actually that have like business internships, like Google, Microsoft, things like that. So really you have to first think about what you want to go into, what you want to explore. And you don't have to be dead set on it. You just need to know, you know, what am I interested in? What could I see myself doing and digging deeper into? And then based on that.
So do you see yourself as like a marketing person because of this internship? Or I know you also do the app. So I feel like that's kind of more like, you know, CS, computer science-ish sort of. So do you know right now of kind of what you want to do?
So for the app, I manage marketing
Okay,
and graphic design. So I do see myself in more of a marketing and business management position. But I did get some exposure to it throughout the school year. Also, my mom is a project manager, so I got a little bit of guidance from that. But I was always interested in business, and I always knew that it was something I really wanted to explore. And in general, I wanted, in my extracurriculars, I wanted to show like a clear pattern of my interests. So I look for things of that caliber.
And for your Harvard, this was like a program for the app, like starting off for developing and meeting all these people. I know you said like looking online is like really, really helpful, but what kind of guides you to looking? Like, how big are connections you think are important, or how do you exactly find all these programs for someone who is trying to find some?
So I think if you're really stuck with online programs, I find a lot of people underestimate school counselors. Like a lot of school counselors have really good recommendations in how to guide you based on your interests. A lot of times schools will have different resources and people that you can talk to if you're interested in different summer programs and internships. But if you do know people in the field, I think connections can be very, very valuable in guiding you towards applying for different things. But I don't think it's something that you need to necessarily have. This Harvard business program, I found it randomly one night while I was on vacation. So but you really have to do your research and look into each program and make sure that you can keep up with it, like mentally and physically, in order to ensure that it's just something that won't drain you and it's something that will try to propel you forward.
So your app is a lot about like study tips, healthy habits, all that kind of stuff. What are your personal study tips for like students who are currently struggling or just entering high school?
So my study tips. So first of all, when you want to study, when you want to really be able to focus on school, you have to understand yourself. First, I would say think about, maybe write down what makes you tick. Like what motivates you, what makes you unmotivated. Finding out things like that about yourself that maybe you think you know, but you really don't, is really important. For me, so my school, we have to do after school activities, and we get home at like around 6 p.m., which is not very fun.
Yeah.
We call that homework. For me, it's having a good environment. Make studying something relaxing. I like to have structure and order, so maybe you can make it something that you set it up into. So grab a snack. I say always grab a snack, so that you don't keep running back and forth out of your room or wherever you're studying in. Always have either a good natural light or like a nice lamp, and make sure everything is clean. Make sure, this is always said, but for me, I get distracted so easily and I can't focus when like things are all messy. So make sure that your desk is cleared. And I would say having music on can really help me, but make sure it's slow, or make sure if it's not slow, make sure it doesn't have any lyrics.
Okay.
Like you can't play those really, really good songs. Because
yeah, that's real.
You'll just start singing. But also understand how to prioritize. That's a big issue that I see people run into. So like with projects, if you're dealing with a project, plan it out. Plan out what you're going to do day by day. You have to understand how to break things down. So if you see this like 100-point assignment, you're automatically going to think it's so hard. It's the end of the world. Break it down by what you're going to start with. What are you going to do after that? And give yourself set times and dates in order to accomplish those, to make things seem less overwhelming. And also, one of my main things is find out when you're most awake, so that you can schedule what you do around those times.
So I know you mentioned there was like a theory you talked about on TikTok that you mentioned that your app will start providing like different studying like techniques. Can you mention some of those?
So some of those, okay, I'll give you a subject, for example, math. We have the whiteboard technique. So you get a whiteboard and then you do problems on that. And then after that, you write down what exactly you did. So it's sort of like an active recall thing. So that's mainly for visual learners and for people who learn best with like reading or writing. So you do a problem on the whiteboard and then you write down exactly how you did it so that you can take yourself through it. And then we also have the blurting method. So this is good for maybe a history test. You quite literally talk to somebody or talk to yourself and you say every single thing you know about the topic. You blurt it out, quite literally. And that helps you sort of, when you teach it to somebody else, it helps you remember it more.
Yeah.
So that for me is very helpful when I have information that I need to memorize. So things like that, we're obviously still researching, but there's a lot of techniques people don't know about, and there's a lot of techniques that people haven't tried. And I think not having access to sort of a database that provides these things is a demotivator.
So do you think that your app can not only help students who have like resources, they just don't have the motivation to study, or do you focus more on people who might not have the resources, which can also lead them to less motivation, or is it kind of a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. I would say for students who don't have a hard time studying but need motivation, that's where our community page comes in. So we'll have different forums, different places that you can connect with students. And so I think that sense of community helps students feel like they're not alone in what they do. And then students who don't have resources, you start off with the study habits, the study techniques. You schedule your tests around it. And then maybe once you get into the flow of things, you can connect with other students. So we have the community page and we have like the learning page. Yeah. So you can go either way, really.
So where do you see this app in like the future? Because I know you're working on the prototype now, and I know you're doing a lot of marketing, promoting it. That's the word, promoting it. And where do you see this app in the future? Like as soon as you launch it, what do you think the plan is for the app?
So we're planning to launch it probably early 2025, just to make sure that we have the glitches and bugs sorted out. I think what we'll mainly do when we first launch it is we'll start off with initial community outreach. So talking to people in our areas, maybe going to different schools. We still have a social media page that we've started to run. But initially we want to have a community outreach, which is good because we're scattered around the world. Yeah. And after that, we were thinking of partnering with influencers, partnering with maybe study influencers whose rates are typically low, but still have a good fan base. Yeah. And then hopefully if we are able to get more users, because we need a good amount of users to set our community page going. You can't have Instagram with 2 people. So after that, I think we would look into partnering with different brands, maybe doing sort of YouTube ads. We were thinking about Instagram ads. So a lot of it will be focused on marketing because there's a lot of apps that we've never heard about. And it all comes down, there's a lot of apps that do the same thing, and it comes down to the marketing point of it.
Yeah, like who can promote it better than the other to get those users.
That's what we've been thinking about. But luckily, since the launch is so far out, and we still have our team members that are more focused on computer science, handling the actual building of the website and of the app, we're able to really plan out our marketing strategies and things like that.
So you guys all connected through the Harvard program you did?
Yes.
Was it an online program or was it an in-person program?
It was online.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, flying everyone from, like, India and, like, the West Coast, that's kind of surreal.
It was online, but it was still busy. So it was a 4-week program, and then we would meet for 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
But we would have some kids where it would either be really early in the morning or it'd be really late at night. So although there were different time zones, everybody was still able to work it out.
And is there multiple people in the program, like not just the people you're working with?
Yes. So that's how we got sorted into groups by doing different forums. So we had a bunch of startup ideas. We did like a pitch day at the very end. So we had one idea I thought was really interesting. They were developing like a workout app, like a meal plan app, but incorporating foods from different cultures.
Oh,
because,
wow.
Diet plans in the US are so focused on like Western culture and things like that. So they were like, okay, what if we make diet plans off of Chinese food, off of Indian food, things like that.
That's really cool. And your group decided to continue the app because it is like, you said it's a couple-week camp almost. And you guys decided to keep going with your app. What made you decide to keep going and not just like, it was just an idea?
We got really excited brainstorming about it, but the more we researched and the more we looked at the actual statistics of students around the world, the more we realized it could make an impact. And I think that was the most important thing for us. As a student, as someone who's younger, you're always aiming to be able to make a change in the world, no matter how big or small it is. It's something that students strive for. And so that idea of, a group of high school kids making an app that could actually make a difference in students' lives was really special for us.
And how important do you believe the connections are? Because you connect with people all over the world. And connections like you and me, we connected through a friend, Eleanor, who did the podcast as well. And how important or significant do you think these connections are for not just like projects, but like for finding jobs in the future, for just anything?
I think connections, I mean, it's human nature. We need connections.
Yeah.
We need interactions. But I really believe in the saying, you know, the people that you are with, they're a reflection of you. So I think surrounding yourself with people who will always support you, people who will always uplift you, but people who also have set goals is extremely important, because not only does that give you sort of that positive community and that positive thing, it makes you a better person. And with these connections, if you and your group of friends are all motivated, and you know, maybe it's different paths you're taking, but you all generally want to be able to do something beyond high school and you want to look into different things, that really helps with connections. That really helps with finding things. So like a lot of my friends are doing different internships, and you know, that's spread by word of mouth. And I think with passion projects like this app, you know, it's other people who keep you in line, and it's other people and the relationships that you've built that keep you going.
You do so much. You from the app to the internship to dealing with school, and you also do theater as well, right?
Yes.
How do you manage your burnout, or how do you manage the workload from everything and the burnout as well?
It's definitely something I struggle with, especially being at a very, very busy school that focuses a lot on extracurriculars. I think theater for me helped me a lot. So I would say I'm a good actress. I can't sing. I can't
Really?
sing at all. But I like to do it because it's fun. So it's like an after-school activity that we're required to do, but it forces me to do something that's not school.
Yeah.
So I think finding things like that, things that you can do but don't have to be the best at, is really important. I see a lot of athletes that maybe love their sport, and then it gets so competitive that they fall out of love and it becomes a job for them. So finding those things is especially important. And managing school, managing internships, things like this, volunteering, it is very stressful. It's extremely stressful. You find yourself a lot of times mentally overwhelmed. But you have to understand, you have to learn to do things for yourself. So a lot of it is you have to have self-love, which is important in a lot of aspects, but you have to understand how to take care of yourself. I mean, as important as school is, and as important as putting your best effort towards maintaining your grades and going after new things every day is, you have to prioritize your well-being. So sometimes, let's say I'm extremely stressed out about a test. I'll say, okay, I have to study all day, but I'm going to do one thing for myself today. So doing things for yourself, staying social, staying connected with people, and finding things that you love to do and finding communities that you see yourself in is really important. Because I know far too many students who are burnt out, but they don't have anybody to talk to about it. And so that just causes a spiral at that point.
Yeah, I feel like extracurriculars can also, like, it motivates you to get your work done. Like, I'm a year-round athlete, and in between seasons, sometimes there'll be, like, a 2-week break before the next season. And I find myself at those points the laziest person ever.
Yeah.
In those breaks, I come home, and I'm like, I have so much time because there's no practice right now. But I'm, like, procrastinating. Rather, when I'm in season, it's better for me because I'm kind of almost forced to do my work fast and on time, but it actually motivates you rather than hurts you. So those extracurriculars can also, like, really help, you say, like, with getting stuff done.
Because it also, I feel like it gives you a mental break.
It does.
I mean, we see as students in the U.S., a lot about college applications.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. We talk about extracurriculars, we talk about passion projects, we talk about essays, and it's there all the time. And it's stressful. It's stressful. But you have to take a break from the numbers. So doing something creative, doing something that requires you to use your body and not your mind as much.
Yeah.
It gives you balance, I think.
And I know you're still pretty young in high school, so I wanted to ask the question, like, oh, if you want to go back in high school and do something that you didn't do that was fun, what would you do? But you're still pretty young, so are there any... Yeah. Is there anything you want or you're looking forward to do for in the rest of your years in high school?
Ooh, I don't know. Excited for prom.
Prom,
Wanna
yeah.
go to prom.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah. I think also just a lot upperclassmen, they have a lot more opportunities as well in my school. So I'm excited to see the different things that are offered. We also have more variety in classes. We were pretty limited, so not having to take math my senior year, I think will be really fun. I've decided I'm not taking an AP science class.
I feel you.
Like, I'm not.
So I know, like I said, you're still really young.
Yeah.
But you're already doing so much. How important is it to start as early as you can to getting into all these extracurriculars and all these programs? What is your best advice about that?
So getting started early, it's not about doing everything you would do in your junior, senior year, per se, for me. For me, it's about taking a weight off. It's about evening it out. If you relax your freshman and sophomore year, that's fine. That's good. But you're going to come to a point where it's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You need to fill those extracurriculars out. So I think I would say explore. Explore everything when you first get to high school. Join different clubs. Try a different sport. Try a different extracurricular because that's your year to explore. But make sure you do something. Do anything. Because not only does that keep you motivated, as we said, not only does that give you a community, but it lets you understand what your strengths are, what you're interested in bettering about yourself. So I think also trying to find leadership positions, trying to say how can I be involved in my community? How can I make a difference in my school or in my neighborhood is something very important. And also, I mean, do things with your friends. If your friends sign up for a club, you have no idea what it's about, sign up for it too. Like, there's no harm. You don't have to go to the meetings, but make sure that you give yourself that room.
So getting involved is very important, but make sure it helps you, like you're having fun and you're enjoying it.
Yeah. So, like, try a bunch of things, but also look out for, what do I like? What do I like out of these things? What can I do with that? How can I expand on it?
And I know you said you wanted to do something in like the marketing firm. And you're pretty young. You figured out that pretty early. For someone who's still figuring out what they want to do, maybe they're in their junior or even senior year, or they could be as young as middle school, how do you find what you exactly want to do with your life?
I don't know what I want to do with my life. I know I like business, but that is mainly something that I'm focusing on and creating a clear path in for college, like to create a spike in my application. I would say it's important to find one of your best interests and find what you can excel at and try to find different opportunities within that field. But you don't have to think that you have it figured out. You should never ask a 15-year-old what they want to do for the rest of their lives.
That is
true. You should never
We are still pretty young.
I mean, 5 years ago, we were saying we want to be ballerinas, so.
True, yeah.
But it is stressful. It's important to sort of scope it out. But exploring definitely does help. I would say, ask yourself what your favorite subject is. Ask why you like that subject. Ask what about it appeals to you. What about it makes you tick. And explore jobs in that field. Or just explore that field in general.
So back to studying and schoolwork. you talked a lot about like your favorite studying tips, like the music, the snack, all those techniques. What are some of the ones you don't recommend, like your least favorite studying habits that maybe might, it depends what kind of student you are, that maybe not fit you?
That's a good question. So, in our research for our app, we were looking at students studying effectively and students using passive study techniques. I would say for me, I'm not a fan of just reading to study. Like, I can't just read. I can recall some of the information, but when you read, you have to either annotate, you have to take notes, or you have to like draw it out. You have to do something. You have to explain it to somebody. You have to take like textual information that you're given and do something with it to help you understand it. So like if you're just watching a video, ask yourself deeper questions. Like, why does this work?
Yeah.
I would say like doing very surface level reading is not good, especially if you're trying to cram. If you're trying to
cramming.
and you just like read over your notes a bunch of times, you're gonna blank.
Yeah.
Because that's happened to me so many times. I have all these notes, and I'm like, okay, remember this. So, yeah, I would say you have to like go beyond.
And what's the key to cramming, do you think? Because cramming, it happens to all of us. We're going to have to cram at one point. What is the key to just cramming the night before?
Cramming the night before, my school, we do like midterm exams, and we do them in the last week of February, which is an awful time.
Yeah,
it's such a depressing month. So what I like to do for like different finals is I like to keep cramming organized because it helps me center my thoughts. So I would say if you have a syllabus or if you just have a general idea of what you do, go unit by unit. I have a bunch of whiteboards at my house. I'm like a whiteboard freak, and I like cram everything on there.
On it.
So I make dashes, and I'm like, okay, unit 1, unit 2, and then I do subsections, and then I go by section, and then I do like a unit review. So I like to do it unit by unit.
Unit by unit.
And then if it is like a specific unit test, I would say you have to just go from the beginning, like go from all the materials that you have gotten, and then talk yourself through each like assignment, talk yourself through each paper or each problem, and explain to yourself, why is this important? Like, how does this connect to other ideas in this unit? So I think like keeping organized for me keeps my stress levels down. I can't just be like, oh, I need to learn the entirety of biology in one night.
And how do you deal with distractions? Because I know these days social media, it can connect us, but it also can distract us. What is your key takeaways on distractions such as social media?
So I think it's really stressful when you need to get things done or when you're dreading doing something. Because if you have an assignment that you don't want to do, you're always going to find different things to put it off. But for me, I would say making sure that you give yourself breaks. So let's say like, I need to get this done. I need to get this essay done. I'll give myself 30 minutes to do like the introduction, and then I'll give myself a 10-minute break. However, like because that 10-minute break, it allows you to go into your distractions, and it allows you to sort of control it, saying, okay, like I'll give my mind a break, but I'm still on a schedule. So keeping yourself on a schedule definitely helps. I also like doing like physical exercise in between studying. So if I'm cramming for something like on the weekend, I'll say, okay, I'm going to study this unit for 2 hours, and then I'm going to take a walk, and then I'm going to walk and I'm going to get food. You have to balance out your mental load and your physical load in order to make yourself not go insane. Because the more you just sit down and look at a book, the more you're like, I would rather do anything but this. So let yourself go out, let yourself do other things, but also keep yourself on that schedule.
Yeah, I feel like cramming, it can get stressful. Breaks are definitely needed for like self-love, your mental well-being. Just take the breaks.
Just take the breaks, because if you don't take the breaks, it's not going to work out well.
Yeah.
If you don't take the breaks, because also, like, when you're studying for hours on end and you're not taking breaks, you're not allowing yourself to process the information.
That's true.
Like, you're not letting it settle in. So, a lot of times, like, I've seen things on long-term memory building. So if you have a big test, you have to take breaks to let the memory sit and then review it again so that, like, it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because not taking breaks could actually, like, hurt you almost rather than help you in your studying.
And also, like, if you find yourself getting really introverted during stressful times, you need to go out. You need to go out. You need to do something. Because also, like, being around people when you're cramming, it'll give you a boost of motivation.
That's true.
It'll give you that boost. You always have to have discipline, but, like, you always need to be able to do something that will help you understand why you're doing it.
So now that we got all, like, the study talk, the habit talk out of the way, I thought we'd play something a little fun. I thought we'd play hot takes. So it's just a series of takes, and they're kind of controversial, but they're fun. So some of the hot takes I found online that are kind of controversial.
I'm excited.
So what are the thoughts on pineapple on pizza? Because I feel like that is the most controversial.
No.
No?
No.
I love pineapple on pizza.
You do? Why?
I just feel like it just balances out. Like, if you think about it, fruit is kind of like, it's not kind of like a vegetable, but at the same time, it can be used.
Like, have it on the side. Like, that's fine, but, like, I kind of feel it in my mouth. Like,
that's true. It can get a little weird in the...
Okay, but, like, imagine dipping an apple in cheese.
If you put it that way, that kind of sounds gross.
Yeah. Because you have, like... I don't know. It just doesn't mix for me. It doesn't mix.
It depends, I guess. Like, if you're you like to mix the sweet and the salty.
I also view, like, pineapple and pizza for, like, different occasions.
That is true.
Pineapple is, like, a very summer fruit. Pineapple is for when it's cold out. Or no, when it's hot out and you need something cold in your mouth. Pizza is for cramming. Pizza's for cramming. Yeah. Pizza's for, like, a night out with your friends or, like, a party. I don't eat pineapple at parties, really.
What are your opinion on Crocs? Because I didn't think this was controversial until I found it online and I saw all the comments and it's very controversial.
I'm personally more of, like, an Ugg slippers girl. But I don't hate Crocs.
Yeah.
Just, like, if you're out in public, please wear socks. Like, I've seen too many people show up with their Crocs in, like, the middle of winter and they don't have socks on.
That is true.
No one wants to see that. And it's going to smell. Like, just do community service, guys.
I do enjoy Crocs, but if I'm wearing them at school, my feet will get sweaty no matter if I'm wearing Crocs. So I feel like it's uncomfortable for me. Maybe like a short period of time, but I'm a Croc girly. I just can't wear for long periods of time for some reason.
Yeah. For me, they're not like I wouldn't wear them, but they're not like an everyday shoe.
Yeah.
Because I put them in the category of, like, slippers.
Yeah, I do see it. Like, I know some people with, like, a whole outfit and they'll wear Crocs. And I feel like just...
I've seen girls, like, go to parties and they have, like, such good makeup and such a pretty dress, and then they have, like, yellow Crocs on. I'm like, just put on some Converse.
Yeah.
Or something. Any sneaker.
I know. Crocs, they're just overworn these days.
They're overworn. I do like Jibbitz, though.
The Jibbitz are cute, yeah.
You know, they made a Croc backpack.
They did?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
Like, it's just a normal backpack, but there's holes and you can put Jibbitz in it.
I feel like that would start smelling, because, you know, like, the rubber, it makes it really... I feel like... Yeah.
Like, I might laugh if I see anybody wear that, but it's a cute idea.
I've seen the bags. They're not called Croc bags, but
I know what
it's that, like, really expensive brand.
Yeah.
That has, like, I'm like, it's
like the beach bags. I'm like,
it's the most ugliest bag, but it
also looks uncomfortable to hold.
Yeah.
Just get a normal beach bag.
Yeah. And there's, like, holes in it. I'm like, might as well just get a regular bag. It's not it. Are you a hard or soft taco girly?
Soft.
Soft taco? I was always soft taco, but then people were telling me like that's just a burrito basically, and I was like, I kind of saw it that way, but at the same time I was like,
but who doesn't love a burrito?
That's true.
So like that's fine.
I just don't like how it breaks the hard ones.
It gets messy.
It is.
It's like, because also if you're eating it on the go, you don't want a hard taco.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna go everywhere. Mm-hmm. Or like if you're eating a hard taco in the car, it's gonna go into every little crevice.
Oh yeah. Do you like what's like a flavor you like of taco?
Oh, I don't know. I'm actually a vegetarian.
Oh, you are?
But like I eat the plant-based protein.
Plant-based protein, yeah.
So like at Chipotle, I get the sofritas, the plant-based protein stuff. It's still good though. Like
yeah, I bet it's good.
It's fake, but it'll do.
I like. Can you eat fish? Are you a pescatarian or a vegetarian?
I don't really eat fish.
You don't eat fish?
I'm not like a hardcore vegetarian. Though, like I'll eat meat sometimes.
Once a yeah.
If I feel like it, I'll be like, oh, that hot dog looks really good.
So you're like almost there, but
yeah.
I feel like most vegetarians are like that though. They're like, unless you're super super hardcore, you're gonna eat meat once in a while.
Yeah. Like it tastes too good.
This was kind of weird, but milk before cereal, the cereal before milk.
Cereal before.
I feel like that's the only answer. Like
if you put milk before cereal, you're like Ted Bundy. Oh,
I know.
I don't want to be near you.
I feel like I've never really seen somebody put milk before cereal.
But also,
either.
like, it just splashes. Like, that's not practical.
Yeah, and then, like, you pour more milk, and then which means you gotta put more cereal. And then you're just like, yeah.
Because when you put the cereal first, you're able to see, like, the milk to cereal ratio better when you pour it. It makes more sense. Because then you have a predetermined cereal portion. It's better. No.
It is way better.
I don't want to talk to anybody who puts milk first.
Have you watched all the Spider-Man movies?
No, actually.
But do you know all of them, kind of?
Kind of.
Because I was going to ask, well, who is the best Spider-Man? There's Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and I think Tobey Maguire.
I would say Tom Holland.
Tom Holland's good.
Tom Holland. He's cute.
Do you like avocados?
Yes.
There was a thing that said nobody truly likes avocados online.
I don't like avocados alone.
Yeah, that is one thing. I would eat like a whole avocado toast with stuff on it, but not just avocado.
You need seasoning because without any seasoning, it doesn't really have any flavor.
Yeah.
But like I love it. Like I'll have a nice avocado roll. I'll have avocado toast, but you need good seasoning on it.
Mm-hmm. And let's see. Do you like cilantro? I feel like that's also kind of controversial.
Like I don't. It can be too overwhelming sometimes. Cilantro, it's fine, like, in things. But I can't have it if people put too much. Like, it's too overwhelming.
I know some people who literally would just eat straight cilantro on stuff. Like...
Are they okay?
I guess it's just, like... But I also heard my uncle was telling me, like, cilantro is one of those things that every person has a different taste on cilantro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like some people, my uncle, he hates cilantro. He finds he's like, it tastes like soap. But I'm like, it just tastes like a vegetable to me.
Really?
Like, yeah.
It tastes very different than any other vegetable.
Yeah.
That's so weird. It's so weird how things taste different to different people.
Same with like the way you see, like I have a friend it was like in a bio class or like a med class, I forgot which one. They were like, look at the color and like write it down. And he was like, oh, it's beige. And then they were like, no, it's green.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen that. And
I've seen like different theories where it's like, what if we all see different colors, but we just have different names? And I'm like, hold on.
They kind of make sense, but at the same time.
Yeah.
Does it?
Like, it gets me thinking at like midnight. So.
Well, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. It was so cool how like we connected and then you came and you had so much good things to say.
Thank you.
So glad.
It was so fun being on it.
It was so fun. Okay, like please subscribe. This episode will be on YouTube, Spotify, and also follow at the Busy Bee Podcast on Instagram. Yeah.